Good morning and welcome to the final installment of our LMV5 technical training series. I'm Aaron Zeller, Director of Sales at SCC Inc. I'll be moderating the webinar again today, collecting your questions and discussing them at the end with David. David Lair is our presenter again. Today, David is going to teach us about the Modbus communication capabilities of the LMV5 system and about the PC interface software called ACS 450. David, it's all yours.
Thank you, Aaron. As Aaron told you, my name is David Lair. I do technical support and training, primarily here at SCC's Elk Grove Village Training Center. The LMV5 technical instructions can be downloaded from the website free of charge or by contacting your sales rep. Many of you may already have this. Section and page references in this presentation refer to this document. Section 8, Modbus. Modbus is carried out in a master-slave principle. Transmission is RTU, remote terminal unit, transmitted in binary hexadecimal with 8 bits. Least significant bit transmitted first. ASCII operating mode is not supported. Modbus protocol is RS-232 level, which has a transmission distance of only 12 feet. An RJ45 connector on the bottom of the AZL, port X72, is the Modbus connection. People usually associate this with an Ethernet plug, but this is a RS-232 Modbus connection. Of the 350 plus parameters on an LMV5, only about 100 are included in the Modbus point list. You can see the LMV parameters in section 3 and the Modbus points in section 8. No safety-related points are included in Modbus. For example, air pressure test is not included, and you cannot configure the LMV through Modbus. You can control burner on-off, set point, fire rate. You can read operating data, actual value, temperature, fault condition, history. The most common usage of Modbus is a local HMI, a human-machine interface. It is used in conjunction with the AZL. The AZL display is used on every LMV5 unit. It is required and mandatory. The HMI, the touchscreen, communicates to the AZL and through Modbus and brings up all the data for an HMI interface. The next most common usage of the Modbus is go to a BAS or a BMS connection, which would be like a building automation system. Again, the AZL is used on the LMV5. The data is collected through the Modbus network and then distributed through various visual screens as developed by the BAS or BMS. Let's take a look at how you connect up Modbus on the LMV5 system. If you have, for example, boiler number 1 with an AZL, that is connected through CAN bus, not Modbus. CAN bus communication is the closed communication system between the AZL display, the LMV5, and the actuators, including the oxygen trim module. If you want to add a BMS or an HMI, you would connect Modbus to the RS-232 connection, and you'd have a running distance of about 12 feet. If you did a second boiler, you'd also have another Modbus separate drop, RS-232, to go to a separate connection on the BMS. A vast improvement on this RS-232 technology would be to make an RS-232 to RS-485 converter. Now your transmission distance is increased to 2,000 feet. Additionally, RS-485 can then be daisy chained, so you only need a single connection, a single node on the BMS network. Additionally, if you add a protocol converter, Modbus protocol, and then you can convert it to TCP/IP, Ethernet, many other protocols that are available, that would have to go through a protocol converter, and that would be a single converter on the 485 network between you and the BMS. Typical setup, go to Parameters and Display, the AZL, and go underneath Modbus. Underneath that part of the menu, you can set the address, maybe make boiler number 1, address 1, boiler number 2, address 2, or whatever configuration suits your site needs. You set the baud rate, the transmission rate, you set parity, on or off, and then you set a timeout. A timeout is necessary so that if the Modbus communication would ever break down or get discontinued for any reason, then the LMV would then revert back to its local mode and run without the Modbus intervention. Also, you can go to Parameters and Display, Load Control Configuration, and you can put limits on the external maximum and minimum set points that the Modbus can incur on the LMV5. That way you can put boundaries on the BMS controlling the set points on your local burner. Additionally, you have to go to operating mode. Under there, you have the ability to turn the BAS, the Modbus, they call the gateway BAS. You can turn it on and off, and you can pick the type of gateway that you're going to use, which in this case would be Modbus. Matter of fact, in almost all cases, it's Modbus. The LMV5 also carries a second protocol thought to be popular in Europe, an eBus, but quite frankly, even in Europe, Modbus is the accepted standard. Modbus is an open protocol environment and is very common and the most popular one used. A typical RS-232 to 485 converter can come from many manufacturers, including SCC. This happens to be an example from SCC Inc. This shows a serial communication kit. Basically, you're bringing an RS-232 to the terminals, going through a 485 converter module, and sending it back out on a 485 protocol. That would include a protective circuit breaker and some power connections, all put together on a convenient DIN rail, and these kits are available through the SCC offices in order to convert the LMV5 to 485 communication. Additionally, SCC can also sell you a protocol converter. Again, you bring in RS-232 if you're going directly locally, or 485 over a longer distance, to a proto node, a proto air, and that would basically convert it to the protocol that you want to use, which might be BACnet, it might be TCP/IP, could be several other conventions. This would include a 24-volt power supply for the system, terminals to connect it all, and a protective circuit breaker and incoming power terminals. Again, these are kits that are available through the SCC locations, and this would be used to convert to anything other than Modbus protocol. Troubleshooting Modbus, go through the section 8 in the LMV5 linkageless burner management system. And that also has at the end of it a bunch of troubleshooting charts and data listings and error codes to help you configure and troubleshoot your Modbus situation. We also have an extensive offering of Modbus options, products for burner controls, combustion enclosures, master lead lag panels, deaerator systems, communication kits. All of these options are available through the touchscreen group, and this is all listed on the SCC combustion website. Section 9, ACS 450, which is the PC software used with the LMV5. The LMV5 system can be completely programmed using the AZL, or you can use the ACS 450 with a PC. Honestly, most people find that using the AZL is much more convenient than using the ACS 450, and they do a rather manual setup of the LMV5 parameters. However, the ACS 450 has additional capabilities that are not available on the LMV5 AZL system alone. These additional capabilities are saving and printing all of the LMV5 settings, combustion curves, information in a report format. This provides a convenient and very comprehensive startup report. And number two, saving and uploading the entire parameter sets to or from the PC. If you were in a hospital installation and you can commission boiler number 1, and boiler number 2 and boiler number 3 were sister boilers of the same basic configuration. Once you're done completing the configuration on boiler 1, you can back this up to the PC, take it over to boiler 2 and 3, and download all of the settings, including the combustion curve, to each of the new boilers. And then you can go back on the boilers, put your analyzer on, and tune up the combustion curve, because every boiler will be slightly different. You can also update the AZL display. As the LMV5 goes through its lifespan, it has constant improvements, additional parameters and features are added to the LMV5, and then the AZL needs to be updated so that it can access those parameters. A single AZL unit is sold out of Chicago, and it has the latest software in it that works with any current LMV5 sold and all past LMV5s ever sold. However, if you would upgrade your LMV5, the AZL may not carry the new parameters that the new LMV5 would have. The ACS 450 software allows you to update the software on the AZL, and then you would have the latest AZL set so that you could access all the parameters in your new LMV5. LMV5s cannot be upgraded. They have the software version they were born with. AZL displays can be updated with the software. You can also view and save trends, particularly useful like when you do PID loops. And you also have a convenient little dashboard that shows all the status of the inputs and outputs and the operating state of the LMV. Installation. The operating system is Windows 7, 8, or 10. You would download the file from the SCC Combustion website by going to SCC Combustion, go down to ACS 450, and register your name, your company. Registration is required because the ACS 450 is sold throughout the world. It's roughly $1,000 a copy for anywhere in the world through a Siemens representative. However, in the United States, Canada, North America, Central, South America, all of the SCC combustion territories, if you're an SCC customer or rep, then we can give you the software with free of charge. That's why you have to go up to the website and register yourself so that we can give the software to somebody in our territory and not throughout the world where it is sold at a market value. Once you get the download, you need to unzip it, run the setup.exe, allow it to go to its default location, typically on your hard drive under Program Files 86, Siemens AG, and it puts its own little ACS 450 folder underneath that. You should send an email to techsupport@scccombustion.com, and then you would get additional CoD files for the latest AZL software updates that are out there. For instance, if the ACS 450 was distributed this year, you would have up to CoD number 500, number 500. CoD file number 510 is the latest update on the LMV5 software, and that may or may not be included in the ACS 450 distribution that you have. So by contacting tech support, we give you some additional files. All of these files throughout the entire history of the ACS and the LMV would be carried in the folder. So you're going to have about 20, 25 different CoD files. Once you connect to an AZL, the LMV5 will automatically deduce what version you're running and format your reports according to the current CoD file. Run the software, enter the license code. Go into your tech instruction manual, go on page 2. The license code is on the bottom of page 2. Connections. Most PCs today don't have a DB9 serial port. That's kind of a thing of the past. Today, you're more than likely, 99% chance, you're going to have a USB port. Then you're going to require two different cables. Both of them are going to be required to run the ACS 450 software. One of them is going to be the USB to serial converter. It has to contain an FTDI chipset in the converter. That FTDI chipset is the basis of the software that's running for the conversion from a serial port DB9 to a USB port. That's what the ACS 450 software is developed on, and that's what's required to convert it so you don't have communication faults. This is going to be used in addition to a null modem cable. The null modem cable can be purchased from SCC or any site that you want. The null modem cable is a very standard cable. Less common today, as modems are less common. This one in particular is 6 feet long. Needs to be male on one end, female on the other. The way you connect up to the LMV is through the AZL. Flip down that trapdoor on the front of the AZL display. You're going to find a DB9 female connector there. Connect your null modem cable to that. Take the other end of your null modem cable, go to the USB serial FTDI converter. The FTDI converter then goes to your PC through the USB port, and your PC is loaded with the ACS 450 software. From the AZL, go to Operation, Operating Mode Select, and then go to Interface PC. You're going to get a screen that says the AZL ought to go into the interface mode. You must cancel the gateway by pressing Enter. The AZL can either communicate with Modbus or communicate with your PC, but it can't do both of them simultaneously. So when you connect your PC to do an upload or download of a parameter set, you must terminate the gateway Modbus mode and enter into the ACS 450 mode. Once you do, it says interface mode is in there. You can cancel the ACS 450 interface mode with escape, and that will show a screen showing your actual value, FTR temp. From the PC, click on the ACS 450 icon. The ACS 450 software will launch. Go into your device manager and bring up the USB serial port converter. In this example, it generates a COM port 5. That's the resource on your personal computer that this USB port is using, COM port 5. Then you go to the ACS 450 software and you say System, Options, Communications, and then you go down there, and from there you set the COM port to the appropriate COM port that you're using on your PC. In this case, we sync it up with COM port number 5. Now your ACS 450 knows which COM port to use to get to the AZL. From the ACS 450 software, press Connect. In this example, we go in at the OEM level. You type in your password at whatever level you log in at. In this case, we're going OEM. We have the factory default start. The ACS 450 software does not have special passwords. It simply connects to the LMV on whatever password you use on the AZL itself. So if that password is changed to something proprietary for a company, then that's what password you use when you load it into the software. It's the current software at the software level that you're logging in at, and the PC is the same as it is on the AZL. Once you go in there, you'll go in and read the parameters. This can take a few minutes to hook it up. The burner must be in a standby mode. You can't have the burner running when you're going to upload or download parameters or backup or restore software to the LMV. So the burner must be offline. It goes in, collects all the data. The two things that you want to do is you want to make a parameter backup file. So you'll want to go to System LMV5, backup LMV to PC. And on the bottom, you hit a dialog box that says save. When you hit save, it'll put it in by the burner ID. In this case, you can see the burner ID is 59s.par. The PAR is the actual parameters that are used to run the LMV5. So this is making a full, complete backup of all the parameters in the LMV5 so that you can download them to another boiler, to another chassis, to another job site, or to restore a boiler if you would replace the LMV5. So this is the entire configuration of the LMV5 in a PAR. It's in a machine code, a binary format, and the LMV can use it, but we can't view any of the parameters or any of the settings. To do that, you make a backup report. In this case, you go into System LMV5, backup for offline mode, and then you save it. When you save it, it's going to make a 9999.mdb, a database. This one is going to generate the report that you can read, and so that you can see all of the settings. This is a wonderful startup report that has all of the data, all of your fuel curves, all of your timings, all the information on the LMV5, the date settings, the modes, the configurations, the ranges of all your sensors. It's got the date codes of all the equipment that you have, the age and the version of all the software that's running on there. It's a complete backup of the entire system in a printed format. This is an idea of what the format looks like. It's a 12-page file that you can view with the ACS 450 software. Once you're viewing it with the software, the best thing to do is save it off as a PDF file. That way anybody can print and view it with a simple PDF viewer. This has all of the settings in there. You can see many examples that are here. This is a great thing to give to your customer to show the professional level as to which you have of all the commissioning and all of the data on your LMV system. It also serves as a discouragement from them to let any of their operators or users go in there and change parameters. This usually ends up in a nuisance call coming later. Hey, my sensor doesn't work. We didn't do anything. By presenting this to your customer, you have full documentation of everything that was done on the unit and how it was configured when you left the site. If anything is changed after you come back to the site, you know that the customer or one of his workers has intervened. Then you can restore it according to this document, what it should be. And the time spent at that customer site because he changed it and had downtime is billable. So this protects you and the customer and everybody else by showing that it's got full set of documentation. This is an example of a sample configuration. Like I said, the ACS 450 software can be used to completely commission the LMV5. In this case, you see we're into configuration, inputs and outputs. We happen to be sitting on air pressure test. We could activate or deactivate. So you can do all of your configurations through the software if you so desired. You can also set up and do trending. So you can watch flame signal strength, you can watch firing rate, you can watch PID load changes, you can watch actuator movement, maybe FGR, whatever you like, and you just pick and configure this to do trending. Resources we have is the LMV5 tech instructions for the ACS 450 and the Modbus software. And along with the download, there's a PDF manual that's also included in the ACS 450 download from our website. I hope this gets you more comfortable to see what the scope and use of the Modbus is and how to use the ACS 450 software. Aaron, I think we're ready for questions and answers. I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, David. All right, once again, a very well done presentation. We received a couple great questions, during that presentation, so let's dive right in. The first one here is, why do I have to convert the native Modbus in order to run it more than 12 feet? Why not just offer RS-485 in the LMV?
Aaron, that's a great question, one that people often ask. Quite frankly, it's a matter of age. When the LMV was released, roughly year 2000, RS-232 was quite acceptable as a communication standard. RS-232, it does have about a 9 to 12 foot limitation on transmission distance, and you have to have dedicated drops. RS-485 has 2000 plus transmission distance, and it only needs a single daisy chain, single drop for multiple systems. It's a vast improvement over 232. Quite frankly, you'll see in the LMV3, it's a 485 out of the box, but the LMV3 is 5 years younger. It's just a matter of age. Back when the LMV5 was released, 232 was common, 485 is a vast improvement.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, and I would add to that, certainly the LMV5 will probably be the last 232 device we make, I suspect. All right, how about the next one here? Do I have to buy SCC cables in order to connect to the ACS 450 software?
Answer is yes, you do have to buy cables. No, you do not have to buy them from SCC. We want you to use the software and to be effective, and the cables are readily available through multiple sources. So if you go to Amazon and you type in serial FTDI USB converter, you're going to get a whole host of hundreds of them that you could probably get delivered to your doorstep by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and probably about a third the price that we charge you when we order them from Amazon, because that's where we get them anyway. So you can get your own FTDI to serial converter so long as it contains the FTDI chipset. Any one of those will work. And the null modem cable is readily available. Quite frankly, if you put in that SCC part number, you'll get the exact one that we supply from Amazon anytime you want, or any other source you so choose.
Okay, very good. How about this? Can the ACS software run on Windows 10?
Yes. In the opening screen, I showed it. It runs through all the way through Windows 95. It skips over the Millennium, which nothing worked, and a couple of other stumbled versions in between there. But anything from Windows 95 forward, the ACS 450 works fine as long as you use the FTDI chipset on your converter cable. There is no Apple operating systems for the ACS 450 software. It's got to be a Windows format. That's the only version that we support.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Dave. So that wraps up the time we've got for today. If you got any questions about anything related to combustion systems, please do not hesitate to contact David at Tech Support or any of the rest of our team there, or your SCC sales representative. Thanks again to all of you, and stay safe. Have a great week.